that song.
Magandang umaga, magandang tanghali, magandang hapon, magandang gabi kung saan man kayo naroon. Tony Lagman and friends. And kasama natin ngayon si Ed.
Magandang gabi. Parang hindi kami nakikita yata.
Hindi, sinusubukan ko ito isang
Okay.
style eh.
Okay,
Kung sino
okay.
nagsasalita siya ang nakafocus.
Bagong style yan. Okay.
Bago style to. Okay, sunod nating pakinggan ang boses ay si Wesley Templo.
Sa lahat ng listeners, magandang umaga, magandang tanghali, magandang gabi. Sana mag-enjoy kayo. Pakinggan natin ang istorya ni Mikee Maralit. She's from Lipa City, Batangas. Right now, nandito siya sa Los Angeles. Tingnan natin, pakinggan natin kung ano ang istorya ng buhay niya. Thank you.
Okay, lipat natin kay Freddie Izon.
Magandang tanghalian, magandang hapunan at magandang almusal kung saan man kayo naroroon. Wag po kayong bibitaw. Isang oras po tayong magkikwentuhan. Marami po tayong tatanungin kay Mikee. Salamat po.
Ayan. At, and of course, we have a special guest tonight. Si Mikee.
Mikee po.
Mikee,
but it doesn't matter.
Mikee.
It's just
Okay.
like a nickname. Mikee.
Okay. Mikee. Wesley, would you like to introduce o kaya bibigyan natin ng daan na si Mikee?
Si Mikee, para ma-introduce niya yung sarili niya.
Okay. Go ahead, Mikee.
Hi, my name's Mikee. I've known Tito Wesley since I came to the U.S. actually, since I was 8 or 9. One of those. I was 8 or 9 years old. I've known him since then. And he asked if I could come into the show and talk about my experience with the Peace Corps. So,
Okay.
here I am.
Okay. So, did you see the video that we put up? The short video?
The teaser.
Oh yeah.
The teaser?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Mm.
My mom showed it to me.
Oh. So, what made you decide to join the Peace Corps?
Before we start, I just have to say it because we have like a legal agreement with them. So just everything I say is my own opinion and doesn't reflect the views of the Peace Corps or the U.S. government or the Lesotho government. I just always have to say that whenever I talk about it on my social media or things like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I've always wanted to do it. I heard about it when I was in middle school, and I'd always thought oh cool, it seems like a fun thing to do because you need a college degree, and I'm I know that after 4 years of college I'd want to do something for a couple years before I start my career or something like that. And then I kind of started growing up, and I'm money solves the world, right? So I kind of didn't think about it for a while, and I was focused on finding a career that would give me a lot of money or something so I can help people. And then some point in college I was introduced to Peace Corps again. I met this recruiter. He seemed super cool and was saying all these nice things about the program, and I was super involved in church during college, and we always talk about how making meaningful relationships, dancing, singing, breaking bread with people are really important. And the Peace Corps goal is not to save the world, right? It's only for 2 years, and they don't really give us any money to do anything. It's more of to get to know people that aren't the same as you. And so for a while I was is that something I want to do? It's low impact. But then I was looking at all the stories that people all their experiences, and it seemed some right up my alley, dancing with people and sharing your talents and teaching people all over the world about America. And in college I studied education. So that in the Peace Corps there's five segments. There's agriculture, education, health, and so on and so forth. And I did a lot of work with kids, and so when I read their description for like the education program, like being a teacher, I thought, oh, that seems like something I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, if you change one person's life, one kid's life, even my own life, I think it's like a worthwhile experience. And so for 2 years, my heart was like really set on it, and but I know my parents didn't want me to do it, but I kind of like started introducing them the idea around like my second year of college. I told them I wanted to do it just to put it in their brain so they're not like shocked. And then I kind of slowly started talking about it, and then I started bringing up stories and when applications were due and things that I needed to get done. And then next thing you know, I had applied and then I got in. And I didn't tell my parents for a while because I thought they would stop me, but they didn't. So I was really thankful. They let me do
Okay.
this dream of mine that I've always wanted to do. They were super supportive, like my brother, my parents. My brother bought so much stuff for me because I didn't have any money at that time, and he like paid for so many things. So I was like, I felt really supported. So I decided to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
So what was it that the recruiter mentioned that made you decide to join the Peace Corps?
Yeah, I remember that he started off with like, if you're thinking you could change the world by doing this program probably is not for you. And I was like, bummer. Who doesn't want to change the world, right? But I was like, okay, bummer. But I stayed standing in front of him and I just kept asking him more questions. And he was saying, but if you are the kind of person that believes that education's important, or that getting to know other people, other families, learning about things and making people feel like, not to be cheesy, but like loved and like important and just have fun and do all this stuff, this is like the right fit for you. And so all my friends, I was with like two other friends, I think, and they like looked at me and they're like, Mikey, this is you, basically. Like I spend a lot of my days like volunteering at little organizations or talking to friends, hanging out, dancing, making people laugh, or entertaining people. So I was like, okay, I'm kind of sold on that idea. And I do have this skill that's like being a teacher. So I was like, okay. And then I signed up, and then I was getting emails from them for like a year and a half. And I was watching the dates of when I would want to leave, stuff like that. And then I found there was this option. I'm sorry if I'm like talking so much. I don't know if we're like supposed
No,
to take
go ahead.
turns.
You're just
Okay.
Go ahead.
doing
But
fine. Yeah.
okay. But so when you go into the program, there's options. You can apply for a specific country, or you can put wherever you're needed. And at first I was super conflicted because I've never been to any of these countries except for the Philippines. Actually, fun fact, they also have it in the Philippines, and my parents wanted me to do it there. But I didn't want to do it there. I love the Philippines. I grew up there and everything. But I just thought someday when I do make enough money and like when I'm capable of helping others, that would be the first country that I go to. So this next 2 years might as well go somewhere else that I've like never been, since I know I'm always gonna go back to the Philippines and do stuff there. But so I like looked at a lot of countries and I was super conflicted where I wanted to go. So very last minute, I just submitted anywhere that I needed. Basically, you submit your resume and your whole application, and they look at it and they decide where you are best fit. And so my resume is a lot of like STEM stuff and teaching, because I got my degree on that, and also volunteered a lot of like I volunteered like a high school and middle school while I was in college. So I guess that's why they put me as a teacher in this little country inside of South Africa called Lesotho.
Okay.
Super small. Yeah.
Okay. So you
It's
didn't
called the
have that.
Mountain Kingdom.
Okay. So they assigned you to that place, and you just said yes.
Yeah, it was kind of nerve-wracking, but yeah, they said you have 2 days to decide. I had clicked yes, and I can't remember if there was anything I had to pay at that time, but I clicked yes, but I haven't told my parents yet.
Uh-huh.
But I was like, I'm gonna do it. I knew they wouldn't stop me from doing something like that I've always dreamt of doing.
So, what was the initial reaction of your parents when you told them that you're going to Africa?
Oh no.
I actually told them I was home when I found out that I got in because I had gotten back from a trip with my friends and I found out while I was with them. They were so excited and everything. Then I got home and I wanted to hang out with a friend so I can like ask him for advice or whatever.
Mm.
And my parents didn't want me to go because it was like late at night and we kind of like sort of got into an argument. And then but only because I was so nervous about the actual problem at hand, which was like telling them I'm gonna be leaving. I don't even know if I'll have data or like, because Peace Corps is kind of crazy because every country's different, right? You like sign your life, not you sign your life away. But, like you sign this thing, you're going somewhere. They give you some details as a whole, but every experience is different. My friends that lived in other villages in the same country had like difference in experience than I did. So like I couldn't tell my parents, I couldn't promise them and go like, hey, when I get there, I can call you every day. Of course, they'll make sure you're safe, that I can call the doctor at any time, I can call the security at any time, but the whole communication with your friends, that's not like always guaranteed. So I couldn't promise them and say like, you can reach me for the next 2 years, you can reach me every day. That wasn't something that I couldn't promise. So that was scary, but I actually had texted my mom a really long message and I told her like, I got in and like, if you ask me to stay, obviously I'd stay. Like if she asked me she needs help and then I should work or something like that, of course I would stay. But she didn't, and she just said she was really worried about me. So after that, after I accepted, it was like crying all the time.
So, Mikey, after accepting the offer, did you have to go through some orientation or training?
Yeah. So I flew out of here and went to Pennsylvania, where I met everyone for the first time. There was 60 of us. Yeah, 60 of us, and they trained us on like how to even like get there, flights, all the stuff that we could take. And we also did some online modules where we like learned about like alcohol, drugs, and kind of basic stuff about the country. And then when we got there, so the service is 27 months. It's 2 years and 3 months of training. So when I got there, everyone, this is different for every country, but how Lesotho did it was all of us lived in the same village or like the same area. So every day I saw we went to school every day. We learned the language. I lived with a host family, but I had my own house like next to theirs. We learned how to cook. We learned how to wash clothes, where to get water, a certain like gender norms or like cultural norms that we should be aware of. Because as much as you want to teach other people what we do here, it's not always like the same, or like they're not always going to respect what we suggest. So you kind of have to like live like the people. So we learned how to do all of that stuff for 3 months. And then we had like some exams that we had to pass to continue. And then after 3 months, that was when it was fun. They had us all like, you kind of put a preference of what you want. And everyone put all these things like, I want to be near my school, I want to have electricity or no electricity, or I want to be in a village in the city. I had like, as you can tell, I'm very like kind of free spirited. So I had no idea what I wanted. So as a joke on my paper, the only thing I put that I wanted tiles, like a tiled floor inside my house. And everyone laughed at me because they're like, dude, you're there for 2 years, so you have nothing else to say about where you want to live. And I was like, well, I don't really know what is out there. And so I don't know what to say. I don't know what I want. I've never lived that kind of life. So I put tiles, and they thought it was like really funny because it was hard to sweep and stuff like that.
So your initial reaction, were you somewhat in a shock when you got to the place?
For sure. I have some videos that I will never show people because I'm like crying embarrassingly. Because we had to, we got there and like Lesotho is so beautiful, honestly. Like so beautiful, but they didn't have paved roads. And people make do. It's not like a problem. That country, I say everyone there eats. Everyone eats. Everyone has a house. Like even if they eat the same stuff all the time, like no one, I think, is like suffering really. But so when I got there, I had like my family helped me wheel my stuff to their like it would look like a kubo.
Yeah.
Like in the Philippines, like yung parang yung kubo.
Yeah.
Parang ganon, pero it's like more built because it's actually your house. Because in the Philippines now it's like a hangout spot, but no one really lives in kubo now, I think. But parang ganon. So I remember it was like I wasn't sure if my luggage would make it kasi parang nisa-drag mo lang sa floor. Like it was like rocky and everything, and then I got to my house and I didn't have electricity. I didn't have running water. The place was nice enough, but it was made out of cow poop and cement. So like it smelled like cow poop for 3 months. Like and it was kind of hot. So I sat there, I remember the first night, because it was really dark. And I'm a morning person. If I'm not out with my friends having fun, I'm asleep by like 9 or 10 p.m. So I do everything when there's like daylight. So when I got to my house and I had training the next day, right away, we had things to do. So I know I had to get unpacked because I had to find my clothes for the next day. I had to find my toothbrush. I had to find all these things you need just on your daily life. And I sat on my bed for like 15 minutes just crying, and I was like taking a video with like a headlamp on my head because I thought I would like send my family updates of my life. So I was like, well guys, like it's so beautiful here, and then I start crying and saying like I'd always known, there's a possibility of no water, no electricity, but I didn't realize how difficult it would be once I'm already there, because I like didn't even know what to do. Like should I put up my lights everywhere? What should I look for? Should I look for my solar lights first? Should I unpack my bags even, because I didn't have anywhere to put them? They basically put me in this house with a table and my bed, like a cot basically. And I was like, okay. So I wasn't sure what to do, and I just kind of like, well, I have to move and do something. So I started unpacking, and it was nice. I was like pretty homesick the first night already, because I opened my bag, and my mom, I do everything last minute. But my parents wanted me to be prepared, so my mom packed everything I needed so perfectly. And I remember I haven't showed them this video yet, but I was like so impressed because she was so prepared with all the medication. Everything was in the right place and everything was so put together. And then I was like so surprised with how well everything was packed. And so that I was like, can I do this for 2 years? And then I woke up the next day and it was so cold because it was like barely going into summer. And so my family, there's some like language barrier, so I wasn't sure if they would, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to knock on their door and get the hot water or if they were going to come to me. So I just sat there and I'm like, should I make my own water? So eventually someone knocked at my door. I was like, thank God. And then I had to bathe in this bucket, basically like a big bucket. I go inside it, and then a little bucket where the water was. And I started putting it over myself, and it was like so cold.
You had tabo?
Even though it was so cold. And it
Did
was
you
like
use tabo?
Yeah, I used tabo. My mom gave me tabo. Yeah. I used tabo, and that was really cool.
I know why.
I mean, that I brought one.
Okay.
I know why Mikey requested a tile floor, so you can roll up your luggages.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Regarding security, you mentioned about security, call security. What type of security do you have out there?
We have.
When you say security, and if you need security, how do you go about calling the security? Do you have like a telephone, or you have like a buzzer, or how do you call security at that place?
Yeah, so we have a phone. Like we had a phone we can use locally, just call. They're supposed to be 24/7, and also the school. So eventually we moved on. Right, the training site was pretty safe because everyone was together, and we saw our teachers and the facilitators almost every day.
So
So
you're
when we
talking
moved,
about the first 3 months, or you're ready
yeah, the first three
after
months was the first three
first three
months.
months? Yes,
Yeah.
you're in
So
a
this,
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But once after 3 months, and you're out there to your assigned location, so
Yes.
that would
So
be
you're,
very remote. So how's security out there after
so
the three
he
months
was
of
pretty
training?
good. He made his rounds. Maybe like every month he would just like drive around the whole country, make sure we're okay. But our main, like I could call him anytime if I had security issues. But also my teachers and the school is basically in charge of me, right? Because they applied to have a teacher, and then that they got me. So they're basically like in charge of me. And also had another host family, which I like loved so much. They were really nice. They were also like my main people. Like if I needed anything, I would call them. They're like right next door, things like that. And yeah, the principal was super nice. She's invited me to her house. I talk to her almost like once a week if like time permits. And
Yeah,
So what
as a
what what were you
as a
teaching?
you see, as a parent, that would be my first concern.
yeah, for
You know,
sure.
your security and your health, and then
Yeah,
the rest are experience wise, and go for it. You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I got all the vaccines. I got so many vaccines
except
coming this
the
summer.
corona vaccine. That's why you were all called back. Huh?
I wish there was a corona vaccine now, but still,
Okay. So I'll give you some time to breathe, Mikey.
yeah. Okay.
Ed, why don't you read the comments? I
Yeah,
think we have a
okay.
lot of comments.
Yeah, um, we have some comments here from Bishop Marcelino Antonio
Oh,
Maralit.
that's my
Who?
Ninong.
Oh, your Ninong. Yeah,
Yes, he's
that's what he
cool.
said. Go, Mikey. Ninong here. So, and then we
Yeah,
also
Bishop.
have Diligencia,
That's Jerry Trinidad.
Jerry Trinidad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. That's what he said. Jerry Trinidad is watching.
Oh yeah.
Justin Leiva Aquino. Hi, Mikey. Who's
That's my
Justin?
cousin. That's my
Your
cousin
cousin.
Tati.
Okay.
Yeah,
Heidi
yeah.
Aquino. Mama is so proud of you, baby.
That's
Uh,
mama.
your
Basically,
mom?
my mom. She's also like my mom.
Oh, okay.
I grew up with her in
Okay.
the
And
Philippines. Yeah,
Renato Lara. Go, Mikey. We are here.
that's my mom. That's mama's best friend.
Okay.
Hi, Tita Rene. So
Justin,
embarrassing.
from Justin Leiva Aquino. The lighting is amazing over there.
I know I got that glow, huh?
Oh, okay, okay. I
Yeah.
think
I set it to a golden hour glow. I'm just kidding.
Bishop Marcelino Antonio Maralit, so proud of you, Mikey. Senaida Arellano, proud of you, Mikey. Who's Senaida?
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Okay,
Although,
here's one comment from Bishop Marcelino Antonio Maralit. Tagalog naman, hehehe, subok lang.
okay po. Sige, Tagalog na.
Jose Maralit, ayos pamangkin.
Tapito.
So from Zosima Bandelaria, hi Mikey,
Hello.
kagaling ng batang ere. Proud ang mga Maralit sa'yo. Moral Jerisa, proud of you, cousin.
That's Ate Jack, my cousin also.
Okay, anak. Rene Bell, we are proud of you.
Thank you. This is all my cousins.
Really? You have a big family here.
Yeah, big support.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're really nice. Everyone's so
Gerardo,
supportive all the time. Tito Jerry.
Gerardo Gabayan, congratulations.
Tito Jerry. Kilala
okay.
din ng Tito Wesley.
Luis Maralit, ask her if the funny moments, okay? We'll ask her in a few minutes. Dulce Quario Maralit, love you,
That's my
anak.
mom.
Your mom, okay. Luisa Maralit and the Filipino she met there. Oh, okay. Tell us about your funny experiences in the Philippines. I mean, in Africa.
In Tagalog.
In Tagalog. And the Filipinos you met in Africa.
First, thank you sa lahat ng crowd and stuff. But I just wanted to say I did it mostly for my own like experience. I did learn a lot, and I hope I made some sort of impact. But it definitely is gonna impact my life for a long time. So, funny things. There's a lot of funny things. For example, like I remember, like the first day I didn't realize that my family used a donkey they call a donkey instead of like a donkey to get water. And so I like came out my house and then they just had like these jugs of water and I thought that was really cool. And all the kids were just so funny. I miss them so much. Like they would ask me, like I said, Lesotho is a really like good country. Like I would say like a country like America has also like its own problems, if not even like bigger problems like racism and like injustice in this country. But like in Lesotho, everyone was like happy even if they had to eat the same thing every day. And so a lot of my days honestly was spent like I played a guitar a lot and so I was teaching kids there. It was funny because I was the first person I'm the first person they'd seen that's Asian that's not Chinese. It took me a long time. Everyone thinks I'm Chinese because not that they're really smart people, just not aware of like the whole world, you know. Like some of my students had never seen a map before, so it was funny. I would explain like I'm not Chinese. Like outside of this whole continent, there's like Asia, so many countries, and they would think it's so cool when I say there's like other countries out there besides China that's in Asia. And then when everyone found out I had a guitar, I became like the talk of the town, and everyone wanted to meet me, and everyone wanted to see me play the guitar. And when I moved to my village, my dad there, my host dad was a pastor, so I went to church even though I barely understood anything. They were at church, I kid you not, for like 6 hours. So I would sit there for 6 hours every Sunday, and I don't understand a thing. But it was nice seeing everyone laugh and dance. And so I started sort of playing music for them. So that big music thing was like a big thing. Like you really like realize that it's like a universal language. No matter what song you play or what language you sing, like everyone understands. That was cool.
Natuto ka bang magsalita nung language nila? How do you communicate there? Yung 3 months of training, natuto na kayong magsalita nung dialect dun sa...
Pero hindi ako masyadong magaling. Hindi naging...
So paano ka nagtuturo? Ano medium of instruction mo dun sa eskwelahan? English? Konting English?
Yeah, so I have to parang speak ng English very slowly. They do understand. So like the teachers, depending on where you are, like I said, like where I was is a little close to city. So parang a lot of them marunong na mag-English ng konti, pero kailangan mag-slow. Like it's called box talking, basically. I have to speak slowly. Tapos yung mga basic things I learned sa training, parang yung kunin mo yung pencil mo, or like I was gonna say tumahimik ka.
How do you say that?
Or be quiet.
How do you say that in their dialect, in their language?
You say like kuko pa pencil. I forget what pencil is.
Parang Pilipino rin, parang Tagalog din.
Yeah. It was hard. I wish I had put more effort into learning, but I was kind of busy during training because I hung out a lot with people and stuff. But yeah, what else?
What were you teaching, and who were your students, as far as age bracket is concerned?
Yeah, so I was the first volunteer at that school. So everyone was so excited. Like everyone had like hard eyes because they'd never seen an Asian person like that doesn't look Chinese. They couldn't figure out what I was because they don't know. They've never seen Filipinos before, so they're like, you kind of look Chinese, but not. So then all the teachers wanted me in their class, right? They wanted to get to know me because initially I wanted to only teach 7th, 6th, 5th graders. I wanted to teach older kids because I am not like a trained teacher. I hadn't like finished my master's in education, but I wanted to like share knowledge of like America. And the big problem that I came for is like AIDS, right? HIV. So the biggest concern that like as educators of like the Peace Corps is like educating people of HIV and AIDS like that. So I knew that I couldn't speak the language they speak is Sesotho. So I couldn't speak Sesotho enough to explain these kinds of things. Like I can't explain HIV or like AIDS to like a grade 2 or grade 1, right? So my main focus was the older kids that already know how to speak English, to teach them life skills like AIDS prevention or like women empowerment and these things like that. And so, but I ended up teaching all classes. But for the lower grades, I mostly taught them games, songs, played music. I was kind of like the price of the week. Like my name there was Lebu, so I would be like, "Oh, Madam Lebu is gonna come," and that's like your price if you're good. So I would come and play games with them. I taught them like Duck Duck Goose. They love tic-tac-toe, things like that. Tag, and then for grade 7, 6, and 5. I don't know why I'm saying my grades like that, but grades 7, 6, and 5. Then I went into their classes and I taught more English, like grammar, verbs, things like that, just grammatical things. And then I also came in additional times just to talk about AIDS and like HIV, because they have like a high like prevalence of like sexual transmitted disease and stuff. And so my biggest goal was to teach my kids how to prevent those kinds of things, how to prevent getting STDs, HIV, how to prevent getting pregnant at a young age, because in a lot of countries, but in that country, like by the time you're like 17, 25% of the kids get pregnant, which I know has been not as bad as like before, right? But it's still, in today's world, I would think that's like really, really like sad. And so I kind of wanted to be like a person there for them. I would say that's like women empowerment. Like there are other things you can do before you turn 16. Like you can go to school, or you can make your own career. Like you don't have to marry someone at 16 or 17. So like life skills, basically. That was like my main thing. I was very passionate about that, especially with the girls.
Mikey, were you able to finish your stint there for 27 months? Or nakat yun because of the COVID-19?
Yeah, it was sort of, sadly, it was cut short. I was there for 7 months. And then
7 months lang.
Everyone was talking about COVID, but we were so far away. I honestly wasn't into the news. I was so far removed from what's happening in America. So we didn't know how big a deal it was. And then one morning at 5 a.m., we all got an email saying, you have 24 hours to get to this hotel. Figure it out somehow. We'll reimburse you with your travel stuff. And everyone was just like, whoa, we have like 24 hours to pack our bags and say goodbye. And like, none of us really had that chance. Like, I still feel so awful. I think like forever probably have like a hole in my heart from that experience, because imagine you came there to tell them you'll be here for them. Like I told my kids, I'm here for 2 years. Like I'll take care of you and I'll teach you all these things. And then something bad happens and then you're leaving. Like I sort of felt like, I know it was for safety reasons. Like that's what had to be done. But at the same time, I felt like I was betraying them, or like just leaving my responsibilities, you know? So I felt really bad. I barely said bye to the kids. They were all helping me pack. They were all saying I'm coming back, and like my family was crying. I had a dog too that knew I was leaving. That was really sad. He was like hiding from me under the bed. Yeah, so it was cut short, and they haven't really talked about any kinds of returns, or like if the program will honestly like resume even. So that's been really like sad.
So how young are you, Mikey?
I'm 23. Wait, I'm 24. I just turned 24 last week.
So what are your plans if given the opportunity and the volunteer program opens up? Are you willing to go back there?
Yeah,
Are you willing to
I
go
have
back or
like
pursue whatever here in the United States? Or you will still spend
I
time in Africa or other countries to help as a volunteer
I
since you're
definitely sorry. Well, I
go ahead.
definitely was. I don't think that experience is just like 7 months of my life. I want to do stuff. I've written some stuff down, written some emails that I want to send out to like fundraise for them that I haven't full on done yet. But I I'm planning to work with the school, and when they open up because they're on lockdown too, like I'm planning to do like virtual guitar lessons and continue that. But as of going back, um, sadly, I don't think I'll be coming back. I have like lots of personal reasons why I can't anymore. But I really wish I could. I just can't anymore. But the like work like that is something I always want to do. Like even like with my recent like career change that I want to do, I'm like thinking of that work that I want to do in the world. Um, but I don't think I'll be coming to visit and stuff like that. But
So
I don't think I can go back. Yeah.
when you were there after the training, so you stayed for another 4 months after the training, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
So total stay 7 months. Are your parents allowed to go and visit you there?
Yeah.
Is that in the contract that the family members can visit you?
Yeah.
They're allowed.
my yeah, it was actually planned that my parents, well, they were going to try to, if like money permits or financial things, they wanted to come in December. And my friends, I had a lot of friends that were interested in seeing what I was up to. So like a lot of them, like two of my best friends were supposed to come in July. Like it was all planned out. They were going to be there for my birthday. We were going to do the school trip and like go to explore other places. And then the next year, my other best friends were going to come visit me, and we were going to go on like this big hike and put
So
all
maybe
these plans. So it was, yeah, allowed. Obviously I probably won't invite them if unless they're willing to be with me while I teach. Like I'm really close to one of my teachers from high school, and I think she would have been really cool to bring during school. Like she was going to visit me for sure, but I thought it would be cool for her to come when I was in session so that she can see how fun
mm,
and exciting teaching there is, because all the kids are so excited to learn. Like best experience ever. Like they go show up every day and stuff like that. But yeah, as my friends, like anyone's welcome to stay. Basically, the house was mine. Yeah, the house was mine, so anyone could stay.
mm.
So, uh, you mentioned a while ago that people there almost eat the same thing every
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
So, what do they eat?
So they eat. It's so funny. Literally unless it's a special occasion, and even at special occasions, they eat the same stuff. They eat this maize meal called papa. They make it outside. They like cook it in this big stove. I had lost all my pictures, so I have some that if we have time I can show you. But I have like they cook it outside, some like mostly because they cook in big bunches. It's like a maize meal, and then they have this thing called morojo, which is basically parang cabbage. It's cabbage you parang maliliit na pieces that you chop around and stuff.
Alam,
They eat that like chopped cabbage and
sana
that I
all.
can see.
Someone's crawling behind you.
Ganda naman ano.
Yeah, I saw it.
Got you.
He's so funny. Oh, he's so
So, go ahead, go
funny. He's
ahead.
such a dork.
So, it was,
So maize meal, morojo. That's like the staple meals. Every
mhm.
family, there. Something I love about those people is they really show what's like important. Like at funerals, it's sort of like kind of like parang sa Philippines. Like I was having a hard time explaining this to my friends in America because funerals here are different, right? You do it like outside. It's obviously a big deal and everyone's like sad and stuff. But in the Philippines, parang nasa house for a long time, tapos all your relatives come, you pray, you eat, and it's like a big deal. So, not, no, I'm not sorry. I'm not saying it's not a big deal here. Just like parang traditionally, there's more things that happen at funerals for Philippines. So parang doon sa Lesotho, it's like that. Like everyone every month pays a certain amount of money to the chief. We have like a chief, and so every time somebody dies, like sadly the mortality rate there is pretty low. So like funerals are very like common. So they have like a funeral funding as a town, as like a town, a village, and they would use that every time somebody dies, and the neighborhoods would bring food and all this stuff in. So everyone eats like papa at these places. It doesn't go missing. We eat sheep. There's been like some traditional things that I had to witness that was like pretty awesome. Sorry, I like keep going off on tangents, but there's just like a lot of stories. But like for example, when they have this tradition where when somebody dies, like a mom, like a female, a year after or at some point you do this thing where you slaughter sheep, and that female's like family have to shave everything, like their whole head, like all their hair, everywhere in their body. As soon as like the first blood drips from like cutting, like beheading the sheep. I know it sounds kind of gruesome, but like I thought it was also like at the same time a little kind of like, beautiful, like how the community gathered around the sheep and the family. It's like a way to cleanse. And after that was the first time I ate like a sheep's heart. It was like a tradition. They like cooked the sheep, and then all the girls had to eat the sheep's heart. That day I invited a lot of like 4 of my Peace Corps friends because I wanted them to experience as much as like I do, because I'm like super like involved in the community. So I thought it was pretty cool, even though like you see like a sheep just lying dead there, but there's like that's basically what they eat.
So si Tito Wesley mo pala hindi na mahihirapan dun.
Yeah.
You mentioned about shaving, di ba?
Yeah, and I was vegetarian for 10 years, and I thought I had to eat meat because I wanted to be prepared. I didn't want to be rude when someone offered me meat or something. So 3 months before I left, I like started eating meat again. And that was a really good idea because like breaking bread, right? This is like in the Bible and all that stuff. Like it's so important to break bread with people. So if they offered me sheep or my family is so proud when they have meat because meat is expensive. So whenever they offered it to me, of course I'm gonna eat it. Like I'm gonna be like, I don't want to eat it. So that was really cool that like I decided that was something I wanted to do and just stop being vegetarian. And their meat was good. It was natural. It was like chicken out in the field, like they kill it right in front of you. So everything was fresh. Yeah, it was not bad.
Siguro yung kwento mo, parang naaalala ko, parang may dinuguan doon, ano? yung mga meat, yung mga ganyan, parang dinuguan eh.
Or kilawin.
Kilawin. Do they have those?
Do they have kilawin?
Yung mga ganong pagkain, yung kapare, kilawin yung parang raw yun, di ba?
Yeah, it's something like raw meat.
Raw meat.
No. So that's what my friends and I were saying, because they had food every day, but they ate the same stuff, even if they went to town, because things that weren't the same were expensive. Things that weren't the same were expensive. So like, if they went to town and stuff like that, they would buy maize because in the maize meal comes in like big sacks, right? It's like rice, kind of. So they eat the same thing because they want it to be like you buy in bulks, it's cheaper. So I don't think they have any fancy food like that. I went to like a sort of fancy party by this family that I met, and they had the same food there too, chicken, maize, and morojo, but cooked with more seasoning, basically. So that's something I really liked about that country. Everything was consistent, so everything seemed sort of fair. Like everyone sort of like ate the same things. I'm speaking as of what I see. Obviously, like I didn't explore the whole country, Like I like that when you go to a store, you find the same containers. Like my friends and I bought our own like containers for food, and when we met up with each other, we were carrying like the same ones, which is something I like. Not that I think that uniformity is like boring or something, but I think I like that you can get the same things and everyone's sort of the same. Because you know in America it's like there's like the 1% and then the low class, and over there you kind of rid of those things. And I really like that. And everyone wore a uniform to school to make it like equal, and like that's like the normal thing to do there. As if in like America, a lot of people also wear uniform, but the norm is that you can wear whatever you want. Yeah, it's
Mickey,
uniformity.
so yung contingency nyo na pumunta sa Africa nga, no? Ano ang age bracket? Anong pinakamatandang kasama mo sa contingency na
Oh,
pumunta dyan sa lugar nyo? Or nung sinabi mo nag-meet up kayo somewhere sa East Coast, mga
yeah,
60 kayo, di ba? Mga 60?
60.
And
Yeah.
lahat bang 60 na yon iisa pinuntahan nyo? Or naghiwa-hiwalay kayo?
So six, no, doon kami, meron ng mga tao doon na parang nandun na sila 2 years because we replace and then we go on training, then we replace yung mga aalis. So in total, after training, there was 180 of us, 180.
180.
But these people that I met in Pennsylvania, there's two, so different countries focus on different sectors, and Lesotho focuses on healthcare, no, just health and education. And so we got split into 2 groups. I was in education, and then some of my friends were in health. So we had different trainings. We lived in different villages, but we were easily able to see each other while we were training, at least. After that, it was hard to see each other. But as of age, going back to that question, the oldest was this, I guess I shouldn't say her name, but this lady who, it was amazing. She has her whole career, has a house, has a whole entire family, has grandchildren. She was like 60 something.
Oh, 60 na.
She's a health volunteer, and so she was able to, she's like, this is something she's always wanted to do. She feels financially stable because honestly volunteering is like
Hindi pa
we all
kami
know
huli.
it's yeah.
Hindi pa kami huli. Pwede pa kami.
May mga skill kayo na teaching or music or agriculture something. But yeah, and then maraming mga like a lot of people are like out of college, straight out of college. But we also had a lot of people na parang they just wanted to change their career and do something better for the world or for themselves, go on an adventure. You know, people do volunteering work for different purposes, and not going to judge anyone for whatever reasons they, but a lot of people went and to just like see what's out there. They're like 30s. A lot of my friends that I keep in touch with are like 30s, but my closest friends there are about my age, just because we connected with being like just graduated 3 months ago, and now we're here in this random country in the middle of nowhere.
Ang Peace Corps, parang dalawa yata no? PCV and PCR. You know about that, right?
Yes,
Yung, Peace Corps volunteer
yes.
and Peace
your
Corps response. Yeah, I read about it.
Yeah.
So,
Thank
ano
you.
pala
That's
yun?
awesome.
So, saan ka napunta? PCV o PCR?
So I was in PCV. PCV is the 2 years. The
Yeah.
PCR, honestly, when you asked me if I would return, PCR is something I would consider once I have more experience. Because PCR is basically like you get called and you're like a response team. Like you can, if you have like if you're a nurse or a doctor, you could stay. You can just go for like 2 months or something like that. So it's a little bit more different. Most people that do that are like they've done the service and then they kind of want to keep in touch or keep their roots. And so
I see.
that's something I would be willing to do someday. Yeah, for sure.
Wesley, meron ka yatang gustong tanungin kanina?
Mikey, kung i-compare mo ang attitude ng mga tao sa Africa at dito sa atin, anong comparison, anong merong attitude ang mga tao ron, anong merong attitude ang mga tao ito sa US?
Yeah. Let's see. I think it's so cool how much, I mean, like they value family. They're like the elderly is taken care of. Something that's always make me sad about like when people in the US, I'm talking about the US, maybe later I'll talk about Filipinos because I know that too, but at least with like Americans, something that makes me sad sometimes when I think about like old people, like people growing old here, it's like, it's hard if your kids are working 24/7, who's going to take care of you? I know a lot of people that had to go into home care, and it's not that their kids don't care. It's just like the most feasible thing to do and safest. But in Lesotho, like, I guess like they would quit their job, just live a simple life if that meant they get to take care of the elderly. And it's not, and the thing is, it's like a communal thing. Like the whole community takes care of the elderly. Kind of like in the Philippines, you know how like parang tatambay lang si lolo or si lola sa labas, tas mayroon nang mag-feed sa'yo or like mag-entertain sa'yo. Dun din sa Lesotho, parang ganon. Everyone takes care of elderly. So that's like a value that I really liked. And with education, they value it a lot. I know they lack a lot of resources that won't put them to the top. I sometimes, like when I tell my kids, you can do anything you want to do if you stay in school. Sometimes it breaks my heart a little bit because I'm not sure if that's possible there. In America, it's like, oh, you do your best in school and hopefully there's other issues here. Like hopefully you get somewhere, right? But there, it's like, okay, fine, you get your degree. Now what? There are like no jobs available. So I met quite a bit of people there that got their college degree and would go home to their farms or something, and everyone's still so happy. Like my friend's like host sister, she hung out with us all the time. This lady who has a degree is really smart, just working in the fields 8 hours a day and wasn't complaining. This was something she just had to do for her family. Just that, like values like that. Or with money, at first it was tricky for me because like the whole Peace Corps goal is to promote like friendship and happiness. So when you involve money and like infrastructure, it gets a little tricky because it's hard to weigh things like that. Like, are you doing like a white savior complex, or like it's hard to like assess like sincerity, longevity, sustainability when like money is involved. But there, they knew I was from America, but I wasn't. People didn't like ask me for money constantly, like what some people were thinking might happen. They were just really happy for us to be there. It was awesome. Like my house, like I was the first volunteer, so I didn't have like a latrine. It's like the outposts, like where you poop and pee and stuff. I didn't have that, and the whole community was so excited to have me. They built one for me outside my house, like all the parents. I like that. And then it's a very religious country, and they really heavily like focused on church. That's something I also like. Yeah.
And Mikey, ano si Mikey as a daughter?
Oh well.
Can you describe yourself?
I think if they describe me, they would say makulit tsaka pasaway. But they only joke around when they say that because I really do like to test my limits, and I always like to do things for people, even if it like might hurt me. So it's like kind of a running joke in my family that I'm doing all these things all the time. Like if something goes missing, my mom would go, "Kanino mo naman binigay?" Or like if my brother's like pants one time went missing, he's like, "Mikey, I won't get mad. Just tell me kanino mo binigay, like kanino mo dino, like parang mga ganon." But I think I try my best. I definitely have some shortcomings, like leaving, for it was supposed to be like 2 years. I thought about it a lot because it's like the responsible thing to do for my family would be to stay, right? To like get a job and start helping. But I also thought like that's something I'm gonna do forever. So I wanted to do something just for now. 2 years I'd always thought was short. So I was like, like once I'm back, I will like give you like the world. Like that's the goal. Yeah, I try to be a good daughter. I listen to them, and we have like really good discussions. Like my parents and I are really close. My whole family's we're like almost like weirdly close. We tell each other everything. Like my friends think it's cool how close we are, and we like joke around with each other all the time. Um, yeah, super blessed. They can hear me right now. I bet you they're like,
Yeah, you know what? I'm really surprised because I think Freddie mentioned this. Parents are very protective, but they allowed you to explore, and you made the decision, and they supported you. Bihira na lang ngayon ng mga parents na gano'n, because they are very protective, and sometimes they really want to control the destiny of their children. Kailangan
I
mag-aral
was
ka.
lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I always tell my friends, yeah,
mm,
like they never pressured me to like have any sort of career. Honestly, like sometimes I wish it's like, tell me what to do, tell me what I should do. But they're always like, whatever you want, or just
uh-huh.
be like a good person, don't fight with your brother, kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Mikey.
Mikey,
But
yung nag-experience mo ba nun, yung pagpunta mo na, did it make you a better person when you went there rather than when you stayed here and worked here in the States? May naitulong ba sa'yo yun? Yung experience, even though it was a short stint for 7 months.
yeah, I think in terms of doing things, there's like a difference with, like what things you do and things that's like in your heart, sort of. Like I've always done things. I always want to do stuff. I always want to help as much as I can. I never like motives wise. I guess sometimes I sit and think like, why am I actually doing this? Am I being like, why am I helping? Like, is it because I want to look good in front of other people, or like, is this something I really want to do? So going there, it was like super humbling because um um going there was like super humbling just because I was put in this position where you see life, it just life, right? There's no distractions. There's no TV, there's no electricity, there's no fancy stuff, whatever that you see everywhere. And so it was like humbling, like, okay, this is like something that I do enjoy. Like I do like to help people, and like, so I guess in terms of like being a good, not better person, I like hate to say like I'm like a better person or something, but it definitely made my like believe in like things that I do, like I guess more state, um, or like care about people and like a personal level. Because sometimes in some volunteering things that I've done, it's not personal. It's like, oh, I found this thing, let me do it. It's volunteering, so that's a good thing, right? But now I think an aspect that added on to like my willingness to help as much as I could is like getting to know people, and not just like I didn't go there to save them. like there was no saving that was happening. It was like they were teaching me things too. Like a lot of like it made kind of humbling to know that like lots of things that I do that's like volunteering is to teach me things too. Like, I'm not saving anyone. Like, so that was like kind of cool, and also like appreciating just everything that I have. Like when I came home and I got to scrub everything, like the first day I was like in a shower, like had all this water. I was almost felt so guilty of how much water I had. Because literally, alam niyo po yung parang, what is it? Parang pitcher? Is that pitcher? Like a
Yeah.
pitcher, I guess,
Huh?
in English. That's all I had to bathe.
Wow.
And that was enough. I felt clean enough, enough water touched my body. So that, like, the shower, something appreciated. So, like, ever since coming back, I've been sort of thinking of ways I can help and be sustainable, where I buy things, how, like, just thinking about like consumption wise, like things that I'm consuming. Am I responsible? Am I being responsible with things that I'm buying, that I'm eating? Like, where am I buying these things from? Are the companies good? Like, am I exploiting some kid in some country by buying this item? You know, this is something I've been trying to be better. Obviously, I'm failing. I have like an iPhone. I just got new shoes the other day, but I'm like trying my best. Yeah.
Mikee, now,
Always just trying my best.
Mikee, now that the Peace Corps is behind you, what are your plans for the future, or what's keeping you busy these days?
So, for a second, I was like sort of going through some stuff. So, I had to teach myself to give myself some grace to breathe. Because usually I feel like I never give myself grace. Like I always have to be on it. Like, what's next now? Like, there's no time for stopping. There's things that need to be done, right? But then I kind of was really, really sad. Honestly, I'm still kind of sad. Still like crying, stuff like that. But I gave myself some grace to be like nice to myself and kind and take some time off to not think about what's next for now. And then I started looking into software engineering things. I started off this whole journey career thing started off, I was like an aerospace engineer in college, and I found other things that I just really loved, and I tossed that all away, right? Because I was kind of distracted. I was doing a lot of things. Then I came here and I said, okay, what's like fast that I could do? What could make me some money? Because to help is privilege. You need like money. Even going to Lesotho is a privilege. Even if I didn't give them any money, like flying over there was a privilege. So I was like, okay, what's like a career now? I'd like a shift of career. So I was like, I'm trying to figure out if I got into this coding boot camp. It's really hard to get into. I don't know. I guess I'm not that dumb. I like took the exam. I got into it, and then I also took another exam that allowed me. It's like a really expensive program, and they're letting me do it for free and just like an income shared thing. And I was supposed to start, but like this week, but I'm pushing it off a little bit more so I can feel more prepared, and so I'm not rushing into things because it's a big deal. It's really expensive. So if I'm going to sign my life or like my salary for the next 2 years, I want to make sure it's something that I want to do. But yeah, right now I'm like chilling for the next month at least. I'm teaching guitar lessons online to some kids. If anyone's listening, or like just a shameless plug real quick, if you have like any talents, there's this program called Coach Art. You teach kids with chronic ill diseases any kind of talent that you like. And like for me, I chose guitar. Dita Wesley actually gave me my guitar, my best guitar. I still use every day. And you get to teach like kids online things, and that's what I've been doing. Just hanging out with my family.
How do you do that? Teach someone to play the guitar online?
It's really hard. Like I have to get this close, show my fingers. I send them some videos. One of the kids, his disease is that he gets fatigued easily, like muscle. So I have to take breaks, and so I just send him lessons he can do on his own time, I guess. Sorry, I'm gonna put on some earphones. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear.
Hear me?
Yeah.
Is this working?
Are you having problems hearing us, or what? Can you hear us?
I just have to. Yeah. It's just for fun. But that's something I'm doing. Just. Oh, am I muted?
You sound kind of muffled.
Oh, sorry. Let me see. Oh, okay.
No, you sound better.
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like awful with technology. But, yeah, if anyone's interested, it's called CoachArt.com. It's really fun, and it's like it's like volunteering. You don't get paid, but it's only an hour, or however long you want to do it for. A week. Shameless plug.
Okay. Yeah, there's some comments.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, we have one question from Bishop. Yeah. What was?
He's really cool. You guys should invite him to the show, honestly.
Oh, really?
This guy is, yeah. If you Google my last name, he's the first one that comes up. All my friends. Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, the question is like, what was the most important lesson, I think, from this whole experience? And if you would have to give a piece of advice to young people, what would it be?
Number one lesson is, I guess, when you meet someone, just show a lot of grace. You know, like, it kind of taught me to like be understanding of people more and give people grace. It's like my favorite word. It's all over the Bible. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Oh.
Yeah.
I can't point like a. So I'm just trying to think. There's so many things I could say that I learned. Or that, like what I said, like the humbleness of like, you can learn a lot from people. Even if it seems from the outside world that they're like, they have less than you or something. I found like they had more life than some people that I know that have everything, you know. So that's something. And then the next question was advice to youngins, right? To young people. I hope I'm like, I haven't done much, but it is to follow your heart. Honestly, that's so cheesy, but you can never go wrong when you follow your heart, you know. Like, I haven't regretted anything in my life that I've done. And I know my parents tell me sometimes that I need to use a little more rational thinking, because I wear my heart on my sleeves. Everything I do is just straight out of my heart, right? And I think that younger people, I don't know, this is just like an observation, they have all these like ideas. And I'm also like a victim to this, you know, like me doing the coding boot camp. I don't know if that's like my heart, you know. But I think a lot of people, we have like all these things we want in the world and that we think we should have at a certain age, and it feels like a race. And it really isn't. But I know this is tough because I just cried to my brother about this the other day. So I know it's hard because I go through it in waves. So does everybody. And just to care for the elderly. And I think something that lacked a lot in my school, in particular UCSD, where everyone was so career oriented, was like just pausing and knowing that like meaningful relationships do matter. You know, there's just all these things you need to do and the money you need to get. And I can't speak that because I don't have money right now, but like I still think that when I have money someday, that meaningful relationships would still like tower that. You know, like sitting down and speaking to a friend or grabbing lunch or being there for your family or whatever. Those stuff are important. So yeah. So cheesy. Oh my God. It's true though. That's in my head.
I think you also do well as a broadcast journalist, Mikee.
You think so?
Yeah.
I feel like I speak too fast.
No, you're okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
You have your own style.
Yeah.
I like your
Yeah.
style.
Well, thank you po mga titos.
How does it feel being in the midst of men who are probably 3 times your age? Do you feel
Intimidated?
Yeah, you feel intimidated?
No.
You feel okay.
Honestly, I came to the US when I was 8 or 9 years old, I think.
Uh-huh.
So I felt like I had to get used to just being around people so I
Yeah.
can have just have a community. So I hung out a lot. I'm really good with like all sorts of ages. I'm friends with all my teachers from high school. My brother thinks it's kind of weird, but like when I turned 21, I grabbed beer with like 4 of my teachers from high school. I treat them like they're my friends. And at this like coding boot camp, there's only like 2 girls. Everyone's like, dude. Also, I'm not sure if I'm doing it justice, but yeah, this is fun. I like getting to know people, all sorts of ages.
Okay. Any other questions from our listeners or viewers?
Obviously, your family is very supportive of you. They have nothing but good words about you.
Yeah.
And
shout out to all the family group chats that I have on my mom's side and my dad's side. The Maralits and the Clarios, I guess. And all my mom's friends that are watching.
How are you related to Wesley, by the way?
I always, when I refer to him, I always say he's like my uncle. It's like to my friends.
Oh, okay.
But we met we're like family friends. I met him literally the first week I came here. We were neighbors in the old house. We lived in this apartment, and then we hung out all the time. And then his kids and stuff are my friends. The closest one is like John. Yeah. Sort of kept in touch, but they moved further away, so we don't see each other as much. But we always go to their house for like Thanksgiving. If we don't have anything, we're there. Yeah.
So it says here from Yolanda Pagkalu.
Tayoli.
Okay.
Belated happy birthday to you.
Okay.
She has the same birthday as me.
Okay. So she was saying that you, Romana, Mikee, Maralit is a pride of Matias' family.
That's my mom's side.
Oh, your mom's side?
Yes.
Because I had a boss when I was in the Philippines whose last name is Matias, and
I think we say it the way we pronounce it is Machas.
Matias, yeah.
Machas.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe we're related too, huh?
So where's your the Matias family? Where are they from?
I think sa Lipa.
Lipa.
Sa
Batangas?
Batangas.
Okay.
My RV.
Oh, okay.
Like my grandma had 14 siblings. So everyone sort of parang dun sa San Carlos. That's where everything started, San Carlos. I used to hang out there when I was younger. Lots of good memories. And then tapos nag-move yung mga iba kung saan-saan. Pero, Mama, am I right? I think.
Call your mom.
Mama, am I right? San Carlos?
No, we want to see you, mom.
How many siblings do you have?
Wait, I want to invite my brother. Kuya.
Oh, you have a brother.
I only have one.
Oh,
but
okay.
I have like my cousins and I are really close. They're like kind of like my siblings.
Who was crawling behind earlier? Who was that?
That's my dad.
Oh, okay.
You guys need to have him here too. He's so fun. He's my best friend.
Yeah. Yeah, call them. We want to see them.
Kuya, you gonna come? They're listening. I know they can hear us because they're listening in their individual communication. Oh, he's coming.
Is that your dad or your brother?
Oh, this is my brother.
Oh, okay.
He's the best brother ever. He paid for. Come on, come here. I just want to appreciate you.
What's his name?
His name was Carlos, but
Carlos.
people grew up. Our relatives call him Mikee. Mikee, yeah, he's the best.
Okay. Nice to see you, Carlos. Okay. Are there any other comments, Ed, on the board?
Oh, well, like I said earlier, most of them are comments in support of Mikee.
So bad.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's
you.
very overwhelming, right?
I'm sorry if I was going off on tangents. I tend to do that when I'm having conversation. My brain goes everywhere. But this was fun. This was really fun, and I'm glad I was able to talk about my experience and how awesome that country is and
Yeah.
amazing people are all over the world. So thank you.
Okay. So any other questions, Wesley, Freddie?
Ang masasabi ko lang gumanda pakiramdam ko. Kasi before ang Peace Corps, hindi natin masyadong napagdidinig yan At kung ano ang mga ginagawa ng mga Peace Corps.
Yeah.
Ngayon ko lang nalaman na ito, sasabihin ko. Noong una ko nadinig yan na kinwento sa akin ni Kuya Wesley, pati ko parang bilang isang magulang, na-worry ako Na-worry ako, my gosh, pinag-aral, ang tagal nag-aral ng anak ko. Pagkatapos, pupunta lang pala sa ibang bansa na ganito, ganyan. Alam nyo, ngayon ko lang naramdaman na tatanungin mo ako ngayon, kung may anak akong ganyang edad kay Mikee, na nadinig ko na siya, nadinig ko yung mga sinabi niya. Sa una pa lang, no, sinabi sa akin ni Kuya Wesley, nako, talagang mahihirapan kung mapayagan ng anak ko. Mahihirapan ako. Marami kong iisipin Pero ngayon, no, yung palang reward na makukuha ng isang bata before, kahit na sabihin mo pa, nag-masters pa siya. Engineering, nag-masters ka pa, pagkatapos pupunta dyan, parang hindi tama mo na, no? Parang wala sa hindi balanse Pero ngayon ko lang naiisip na pagka pala at a younger age, no, 23, nag-masters ka pa for another 2 years, 25. Then pumunta ka as a Peace Corps. Parang maganda rin Kasi para bang meron kang matututunan, no, training, developmental sa sarili mo na pagbalik mo rito mukhang equipped ka ng lahat Hindi lang classroom, theoretical lahat. Aba, equipped ka ng pati ng environmental, pati ng buhay, cultures ng iba, paano namumuhay. Mas maiintindihan mo ngayon ng kung ano yung kinuha mo pagbalik mo rito. Spend 2 years, that's fine. 27, pagbalik mo rito, para bang kumpletong-kumpleto ka Kumpletong-kumpleto. I believe, I think, Mikee, naintindihan mo ba yung sinasabi ko in Tagalog? Na para bang unang-una libre. Well, I don't know. Do they pay for your or that's your own expense?
They paid for yung mga plane tickets ganon.
Yung plane tickets, no?
Yes.
Although wala kayong sweldo, allowance lang, right?
Parang like
allowance lang. But that's fine. And number one sa akin yung security, safety. Yun lang. Kung magagarantya, siguro, siyempre, anywhere you are naman, yung magagarantya ng security. Pero kung laid out lahat ng security ganyan, I think, sa tingin ko, papayagan ko anak ko. Kasi it's for their developmental ng sarili nila while tumatanda. Pagbalik nila rito, pwede ko na silang laban na sila They have been through, di ba? Giving up your living comfort dito. Natutunan nilang matulog sa ganyan-ganyan. And not all kids have experienced what you have experienced. Sa tingin ko, that's why I asked earlier, did you feel naging better person ka ba sa sarili mo? I think so. And then, maano mo yan ma-share mo yan sa mga kaedad mo, your peers. And then, who knows? Baka yung iba dyan, pag nag-open na naman ng Peace Corps, ako nga siguro, parang naiisip ko kung ako'y 23 years old, parang ang sarap especially kung adventurous ka talaga, ang sarap. Walang masasayang. 2 years, hindi masasayang yun Kumbaga nadagdagan ka pa ng experience sa buhay. And then, pagbalik mo rito, mas kumpleto kang lumaban.
I think, everyone should do it. My friends always say, like, you put someone in a position like that, I don't know how you can't be a better person, you know? We put people in a position like that. Like if we put, I won't be political, but if we put all like the people in the U.S. running the country right now, if they had all done the Peace Corps, I don't know how they could make that decision.
You know,
I know how it's
yeah,
like to not have much.
yeah, and I don't think everyone would be willing to do what Mikey has done. Parang in short, ang umiiral dito yung selflessness ni Mikey. It's like giving her, herself, offering her services to those who are in need.
And for myself too.
Yeah.
It was a give and take situation.
Yeah.
A lot more
Yeah,
take,
reward.
I think. A lot more take from me, I think.
Mhm. Okay, Tito Wesley, anong masasabi mo dito sa
Siguro ang unang-una talagang kilala ko na yung mga batang yan. Mga magkapatid din, napakabait na pamilya. Especially Mikey. Tsaka yung parents niya, the best. Talagang dapat nating saluduhan yung mga magulang niya kung paano sila nakapagpalaki ng napakabuting mga anak. Okay, ang masasabi ko lang diyan, dun sa mga viewers natin right now na maaaring kasing edad ni Mikey, napakadaling maging anak sa ating mga magulang. Pero paano ka ba naging anak sa mga magulang mo? Malawak, pero kung iisipin mo napakaraming sagot. Sana para maging maganda is sana maging mabuti kang anak sa mga magulang mo. Katulad ni Mikey.
I try.
Yeah.
I try.
Okay. So Mikey, it was a pleasure having you in our program. And
Thank you both, Tito Tony, Tito Ed, Tito Freddie, and Tito Wesley.
Yeah. And you opened a lot of eyes, from the viewers that we have, and hearing your experience. It's really a humbling experience, coming from the comfort and the extravagance that we live here in the United States, and going there, having to be contented with a pail of water to bathe yourself. I can just imagine, the adjustment that you need to do, in order to really survive, and
It's surprising how little you actually need.
yeah. So I'm sure, gaya rin ang sinabi ni Wesley, your parents, I think, is proud of you, but we as parents are proud of your parents, because they gave you the opportunity to really learn life itself, and you don't get that here, but you get that in places like where you went to, and being with them, sharing a part of your life with them, it's really rewarding, Yeah.
Shout out to everyone that raised me.
Yeah.
And my parents especially.
I think
Lots of people raised me.
Yeah, I think that is the grace that you were saying is the grace that was given also to your parents, to trust God in everything, because they could have said no, but I know I can sense that they are a very prayerful people, and they trust the Lord so much that they put you in Lord's hands when you traveled to that country.
Thanks for everyone too that prayed for me. I know a lot of people prayed for me and texted me before I went.
It's true. Power of group prayer is very strong.
Magbibiro lang ako bago tayo
I
magpaalam.
like jokes. I like jokes.
Yeah. Kung ako magulang ni Mikey, especially yung nanay niya, Mikey, pagbalik mo rito sa Amerika, total, nakakaligo ka pala ng isang pitsil lang. Pagbalik mo rito, isang pitsil lang na tubig ang gagamitin mo. Makakatipid tayo.
I'm gonna post a tutorial. It's possible,
Isang
guys.
pitsil lang.
It's possible.
Ipampapaligo mo. That's it.
That's why shinave ko po yung hair ko na nandun ako parang hindi mahirap hugasin.
Yeah.
Hugasin?
Hugasan.
Parang hindi mahirap hugasan. Talagang shinave.
See.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're impressed. We're impressed very much by your experience, and we thank you again for being with us tonight.
Yeah. Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun, and I hope everyone took a thing or two.
Okay, and we'll take that offer kay Bishop Marcelino.
Sinabi po niya magaganon siya.
No,
Sabi
but
niya.
Bishop, where's the anong ano niya?
Sorry I put you out there, huh?
Where saan ang ano niya, church niya?
I'm sorry, I don't know much.
You don't know?
He's in the Philippines.
He's in the Philippines. Okay.
Marinduque.
Marinduque.
Oh, Marinduque. Okay. Marinduque.
Sorry po, Bishop.
Yeah.
He's too cool, you know. Everyone has to hear him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, maraming salamat, ano? And we'll say our goodbyes. I would like to give this opportunity to Ed to say goodbye to all of the listeners and all the viewers tonight. Ed?
Maraming salamat. Naka-off pala yung mic ko. And good luck to Mikee on whatever future endeavors you will take.
Thank you so much. I will need it.
Okay. How about Wesley?
Sana sa mga kasing edad ni Mikee, makapag-isip din sana tayo na maganda sa kapwa natin, makapag-contribute tayo sa mundo. Although kahit na maliit, makakatulong. At sana more success to Mikee and family.
Thank you, Tito Wesley.
Okay. And Freddie?
Mikee, do what you love to do.
I think I'll just be a co-host in your show.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Do what you love to do, and there, opportunities will just present themselves.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Salamat po.
Okay. So maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga listeners natin dito sa Radio Filipino USA. At we'll be back Friday, and we don't know if we have a guest this coming Friday, but we'll be there. So habangan nyo kami ulit, at we'll see you in 2 days. Magandang gabi. Maraming salamat.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Mikee.
Bye, Mikee.
Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay po kayo. Sige po. Paalam.
Oh, sorry.